child.
Is it true I must answer 2 questions to enter?
No, come in, my child.
May I ask you 2 questions?
Ask anything you wish, my child.
Is Albert still down there or not?
No, we brought him up here years ago.
I knew it. What about the Cubs? Will they be in the World Series this year?
Not unless they get a lot of help from up here.
Minnesota.
Mary Stainer, Denville.
Yeah.
She's a daughter of Frank Stainer. Are you the oldest of Frank's kids?
Well, I hope so. I wish I wasn't.
At least she is.
Yeah, right. Tough going, but that's the way it is. You know, this is nice we're having this year because, I don't know, I might be here 50 years from now for another one, but who knows? Huh?
That's the way everybody feels.
Yeah, right. And I remember, you know, my dad couldn't come back here for the last one, was it 50 years ago?
43.
43?
Yes.
Well, anyway, he was in California and he was not very well, you know. So he wrote a funny letter and sat it back and they read it then down there. I thought it was really nice. He died in 1968 attack.
Where does Mike live?
Mike Sainer, he lives in San Francisco.
Does he? And Terry lives out there?
Terry lives in San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
Haven't seen him for a long time, so.
Well, I haven't heard from
Seen
them.
him for a long while.
Pardon?
You haven't seen him for a long while?
No, ages. Well, Mike's wife died a couple of years ago.
Oh, she did.
Brain tumor. And so he's alone. And of course, Terry never did marry.
Oh, didn't you?
And here's Julius. Hi, Julius.
Hi. He gets around kind of slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Still
good.
on his feet.
Better. Shenandoah, Iowa. She's daughter of Carrie Sainer Head. Take it away. You're on.
Well, one thing I can remember that was pretty funny, Lucille Hughes used to stay with us and she taught school. And my mother used to call me the tease because I did to start things. And we got in a water fight. Lucille and I were against Tony. And we were running through the house with throwing water. My mom said, "Get out of here."
I don't blame her.
And anyway, Tony got a hold of both of us and put us under the pump, pumped water on us. That's how he got even with us. Lucille still remembers that, I'm sure.
Uh-huh. You didn't get him then.
Huh?
You didn't get him wet.
Yeah, we did, but he really drowned us pretty near.
You'd been down to senior citizens playing cards.
Yeah.
Did you win?
Well, I won my share.
Did you? And you play the piano for the Dinglings.
Well, I helped to, yeah.
Uh-huh.
We go about once a week, and this time of year get to go to a lot of banquets, you know, and then we don't have to work, and that's what we like.
Get to eat.
Get to eat.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to 2 tomorrow.
Oh, 2?
You know, one at Elm Heights, and then that evening we go to Valeska. We get really good food. But Bobby Reagan is with us, and he's not even interested in the food. He won't go to any of those banquets.
Oh, he doesn't. He just wants to play.
He just wants to entertain.
Uh-huh.
We just missed out on a lot of good food. I should miss half of them because I'm too fat now.
Well, aren't we all? That's our privilege, though. Of Dorothy's family. Oh, now I'm getting up too close. Somebody else, there's no reason you should put me out on the shelf. Lady, don't be angry. Oh, you make that thing sound good. Okay.
Oh, ain't she sweet?
Ain't she sweet?
Oh, ain't I nice? Look me over once or twice. Now ask the fairy competition.
Cast an eye
In my direction.
my direction.
Oh, me, oh, my.
Oh me, oh my.
Ain't that perfect? I repeat, don't you think I'm kind of neat? Now ask the fairy competition. Ain't I neat?
Oh, that's a good note to end up on. This is Veronica Leahy Hilton, daughter of Holly Sainer Leahy and Art Leahy.
That's right.
Okay?
Call me Wancy for short.
Then it's Wancy.
Yeah.
Okay, Wancy, how many children do you have?
I have
we raised 11. We had a set of twins when I died. So I suppose you'd say we had 12.
Uh-huh.
And they're, all the rest of them are living. And they're all gone, except we're away from home, of course, they're all married, except Marie. But Bob and I are by ourselves now. And let's see, I'm the oldest of 12, you know.
Mm-hmm. In Holly's family.
And Mom and Dad's family, yeah.
And there's 7 that have
And
died.
7 of them are dead. There's
Yeah.
Marty, and Vince, and Jim, and Jack, and Bill. They're all gone.
And Vincie and Marie.
Vincie and Marie. Did I name them?
I don't think so.
Well, anyway, there's 7 gone.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, I didn't, Esther, because I remember now I'm kind of 5. There's 7 of us gone, there's 5 of us living, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Jean and Jerry and Margaret and Irene and I.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the only one living down here. But
And all the rest live in Omaha, don't they?
my Mom and Dad died. Well, Dad died in 1987 and Mom died in 1980. So they were up in age good. Dad was really 94 and Mom was 87.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long time to live. But we got a lot of, I didn't know Grandpa Sainer too well, Pa Sainer as they call him. I don't remember him too much, but I remember Mother Sainer, we always called her. She was a saint. I picked up a great many of the things that I do. For instance, I bless my house with holy water, and I'd always have with the family. And she's ingrained in you so many things about Catholic faith that she was just a great good example for everybody. I always thought. Anyway, that's the way I remember Grandma Sainer. She was the best old saint there ever was.
Okay, this is Wansey's family, the 11 living children.
On our 50.
On your 50th wedding anniversary. Now, who are they all? You tell me.
From left to right in the front row, Angela and Kathleen, and then of course Bob and I, Mary Ann and Louise. In the back row from left, Stephen and Vince, Patty, Jerry, Bob, Marie, and Bill. Bill's our oldest one.
Holly on their 60th wedding anniversary. Boy, that's good. Jean Leahy. And Jean was mayor of Omaha. What years, Wansey? Do you remember? In the 60s. And he made a darn good mayor.
Looks kind of important, doesn't he?
Oh, yes, he does. Be nice to interview him. And this is Rita Reagan Skalberg, daughter of Bertha and Tom Reagans. Mm-hmm.
Sainer comes in. And I don't remember my grandpa Sainer. I was only a year or 2 old when he died. But I remember Grandma Sainer. They called her Mother. Everybody called her Mother. And she was ill by the time I knew her. We lived beside them in Imogene for a while. And I often think of all the sacrifices all these big families went through to send us to school and provide food and clothing and keep us all going and graduate. I don't remember, but we had diphtheria in the family when my mother and dad were first married. And they lost a little 7-year-old boy, Edward. And she said that she had to dress him and put him in the coffin and get him ready to be buried because no one was allowed in the house because it was such a contagious disease.
And she didn't get to go to the funeral either.
She never got to go to the funeral.
That'd be sad.
Yes. And I don't know. I remember the Sainers. Some of them, not all of them. Joe and Vince and my dad ran a threshing machine out there, and they had fun. And as soon as it was over, my dad always took us on that trip to Lake Okoboji. He always made a week's vacation no matter what he was doing. Admired him for that.
Margaret Leahy McArdle, isn't it? Mm-hmm. From Omaha, Nebraska. And she's visiting her lovely sister here in Shenandoah. Now, you want to talk to me?
So what? I'm the second oldest of Arts and Holly.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Mother very well. Grandma Senior. And Pa.
Do you remember Paul Senior?
Yes. One time Mother gave us big pieces of bread, Fanny and Wands and I, and put jelly on it. And I walked in his room where he was in bed, and he looked at me and said, "Don't drop that on your toes." Well, I was 15 years old before I caught on what he meant. And that's my memory of him. I don't remember when he died, and he never got, but I do remember that because I guess I was just ignorant, didn't know the difference, didn't even know enough to feel sorry for the poor man.
He was joking you.
And I know he had a mustache, and that's just about all I can tell you. But Mother, bless her heart, she was so good to us. She'd feel under your uniform or dress you had on at school to see if you had an underskirt on, probably made of outing flannel, but anyway, to see if we were warm enough. And I also liked her because I could do her windows and wash them, and she just praised me, which I didn't get too much of. And I'd get those corners just right down there for her, and she'd give me a quarter. But it was a lot of money that time.
A picture of Carrie and Dan Head. And this is Carrie's family. Carrie, Tony, Dorothy, Rose, and Mary.
No, I just stand like this all the time doing nothing. Mostly I pick my nose. That's good, so I don't want to ride with you. You're a dangerous driver. I'm sorry, I'll just walk. No?
Well, by gosh, it's Bob Reagan.
Good enough.
It's Bertha Reagan's little boy. He did something of Bertha did rub off on him, didn't he?
Hughes Farm. Helen Reagan Hughes. It's a century farm, owned by the same family for over 100 years. Reagan Hughes, daughter of Bertha Reagan.
And I don't know, Ma was always pretty good to help, Bertha that is, help everybody. I can remember she used to always go and help people when they had babies. They'd come there in the middle of the night after her. I know Maggie Sainer sent over a few times to have her come over there. Different times I remember waking up in the night sometimes and hearing the old Model T or whatever it was they had, or take them over there to have the baby. And then, what else do I remember?
Well, they did go to a hospital to have a baby.
No, they all
They had them at home.
had their babies at home. In
Sure.
fact, I had 6 of mine at home here. Dr. Kerr used to come here, and they only charged $25 if you paid cash. You got it for $20. That sure makes a difference on what they have today. No, it makes a
Oh, you bet.
You bet. No, we didn't have. No, my last two I spent in the hospital, Dave and Nana, and that's the way to go. I'd never go back to the old way. When she'd go around and help the neighbors, or even help people that are poor, she'd take sheets off her own beds at home and take them and put them on their beds. Some of them didn't have. I remember some of the Timmers. Maybe I shouldn't mention names. And when they lived there in Imogene, she went in and took care of her after she had a baby or something. She took in sheets and pillowcases and cleaned up the place and put it on. She's a very good-hearted woman.
You bet, Helen.
Well, I went in the first night, and I was going to go the second night, but I had eye surgery, and they said don't jump around any for a while, so I think I better wait a couple of weeks before I go back to it.
How old are you now, Helen?
I'm 83 in April, 11th of April.
And you're making your garden.
I'm making my garden. I put in 300 onion plants and some radishes this morning, and I'm going to put in some potatoes this afternoon that Doc gave me, Doc Reagan, my brother. And I got a couple of little trees I got to replant.
Ann Dempsey O'Connor, daughter of Annie Sainer.
No. Annie.
Didn't I say Annie?
Mm-hmm.
Sainer Dempsey. Scale.
Marie for me to go.
Uh-huh. You want to tell me how many children you have?
I had 8
One of them is dead. Tommy got killed in a car accident, and otherwise they're all up and going.
How many grandchildren?
31 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren.
Uh-huh. And when the kids were little, they had polio. Some of them had polio, didn't they?
Had polio. Mary Lou was born with, had a birth defect with her hip. Had to
I
have
remember that.
fixed, so out of 8 kids, half of them are cripples.
Yeah.
They're all up and going, and nobody ever made any fuss about it much. They just went on.
Sure.
But when we were little, my dad got sick when I was 5 years old, and I can remember him pacing back and forth in our dining room, and he, instead of having ice packs on his side where the pain was, he had a hot water bottle and waiting for the train to come so they were going to take him to Omaha to the St. Joseph's Hospital, the old one. But there was no, in 1914, cars were pretty scarce. But they took him up, and then they didn't operate that evening on, he had appendicitis, they said, so they didn't, like now they'd have operated right then, but they put it off till morning and the appendix ruptured. Gangrene set in, and he just lived a couple of days after that. And Allie Ryan was with him, and I think Mamie Dempsey, his sister, was with him. But Allie lived in Council Bluffs, so she was there with him all the time. And this is a letter that she wrote to his sister Rose about the death. It's kind of a sad thing and kind of a tearjerker, but it's Dear Sister Rose, Independence, Iowa. My dear sister, I am writing you today to tell you of the happy death of Mike Dempsey. As you know, I live in Council Bluffs. I had the opportunity to be with him every day and was at his side when the angel of death approached in fond love. I am your sister, Allie.
Mon's family
He's not
and their spouses.
And of course, Sally the nun.
Sally is the nun. Okay, now, ready?
Okay, now we're at the original homestead of Paul Sainer and Mother Sainer, and we're giving you a shot of where the old house once was. And if we'll go a little, there's an old chicken house, and of course that wagon, they didn't have them at that time. Then the old barn. Also an old windmill, it's pretty well dilapidated, but I imagine they had a wood one at that time. And also you'll see a little granary. I guess at one time they lived in there. They said this is where Annie Sainer Scale was born. And of course the crib and the other building has been relatively new since that time. But this is the original homestead when Pa and Mother came out to this area.
Out here begging food from Fanny. I think she gave him a piece of toast.
They run him out of Red Oak, he said.
2 pieces of toast. I don't go cheap.
Fanny Dempsey Martin's house, and she just made homemade bread, and boy, does it smell good. Dempsey Martin, daughter of Annie Sainer Dempsey Scahill.
I have a few things to say about Mother Sainer, my grandma. And for one, she was had much faith in the Lord and everything. When she died, she had 2 bags of medals on her neck. One that was in the front, one was in the back. And she died, and I asked if I could have her medals. And Gert Reagan was there, Doc's sister, and she wanted one. So we cut it in 2, and this is what we have, and I still have the medals. And they're pretty well shot. There's one, and here's some badges that she had, Sacred Heart badges and stuff like that. And then
She always wore it around her neck.
she wore them around her neck all the time. Mom said she thinks she probably made this little bag to put them in. There were 2 of them. See, it was cut in 2 there. She had to take it off of her when she died. So then another thing, she always had a box of prayers. She said every day, this shoebox, it wasn't full, but she had prayers in it. Kneel down by her bed and say her prayers. And then every time she got a bucket of fresh water, which she had to go to the pump and bring in, she would take a St. Benedict's medal with the cross side down and make a sign of the cross over it. And she had an old cat she called Tom, Oh, no, Jim Cat was. Jim Cat. And she'd take a dip of that water and put it down in a dish for the cat to drink. Oh, and couldn't get it. She fell once and broke her hip and it never was fixed. And when we took her up out of the bed, there's always me and Mary Head or Kurt Reagan or Letty Swansea, Margaret, whoever stayed there with us, with her. We would have to lift her up off the bed and put her in a rocking chair. I don't know, we did have a wheelchair, but we'd drag that rocking chair out into the dining room or out in the kitchen. Drag her around, and she never complained. She couldn't talk after so long. She had strokes. She'd make noises at you, but she wouldn't be able to say what she wanted.
How old was Mother Sainer when she died?
81.
81. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
This is the main part of this house is for Bertha Sainer Regan, and 9 of her children were born. Marge Regan, James, she was the first one born here, and she's 81 years old. And I'm the youngest, and I was also born there, and I'm 42. Anyway, this is where
You're lying.
Where the Regans originated, and which is now, what, 416, I believe you said, didn't you? Okay.
And your wife isn't home today.
I have 2 boys and a girl, and...
You have 2 girls.
Oh, okay, 2 girls, I forget.
And how many grandchildren?
13 grandkids, 13, a good even number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a dog.
And a dog, my peanut dog right here. The only thing he knows how to do is wet on tires and bark at coyotes, right? Come over and lay down. Lay down. All the way down. That's our way.
Oh, and he obeys.
Good guy. Dog's smarter than I am, really.
Well, I just heard that dog told you to lay down.
No, did he really?
Uh-huh, and you didn't do it.
Boy, Stink, you can
Okay, this is Evelyn Sainer, daughter of Maggie and Joe Sainer. And you have a little ditty to tell us.
Oh, what little ditty. I don't remember my grandfather, Paul Sainer, but I do only remember one thing about Mother Sainer. When the roads were bad and we would have to stay in town to go to school, I had to stay with Mother Sainer, and I would have to sleep with her. She was real deaf. She couldn't hear anything. Then we had to say the rosary at night, so we knelt down in front of the cot, and she told me to take a rosary and start. So I could care less about that rosary. I was so lonesome. I wanted to go home. So my thoughts were elsewhere. So I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And Mother Sainer answered, Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now at the hour of our death. Amen. That's all I remember about Mother Sainer.
This is Angela Sainer Larson, daughter of Joe and Maggie Sainer. Okay?
I am the eldest of we 3. I hate to say that. This winter, when we were bored because I couldn't get on the golf course, I found something else to do, so I took up line dancing. So I showed Evelyn and Esther how to do this. Everybody in town went crazy over Western dancing. So I showed them how to do this. So we're going to do just a little bit of it to show you how well we do for old ladies. Okay?
Okay.
You
There,
start.
it's on. Here we go. Turned up real loud. Okay, how's that?
Can you tell
My name is Esther Butler. And I don't know a thing about Mother and Paul Sainer, but I know about all of you people and all about the committee, and I'm going to tell you some things. When Jim Scale came down here in January, He had been down in Florida to see Agnes and Joe Clark, and he had a letter in his hand. He says, you know, we haven't had a reunion, Sainer reunion, since 1950, and at that time there were 12 of the 14 Sainers still alive, and 80 of our generation. And now there's only 43 of us, and about 20 spouses. So we're going to have this reunion, and I wrote this letter, and I put you on as a member. You're a committee member. You know, you're a volunteer. And he says, all you have to do is notify your two sisters, give a copy of the letter to Wansi, and she can notify the Leahys. One to Devona, she can notify Anthony's family, and one to Germaine, and she can notify Vince's family. And I thought that was easy enough, I can do that. And the next thing I know, Steck is writing a book. Doc Reagan has rented a great big tent, and he's having a dance, and he's running around the country, and he's scooping up every picnic table he can lay his hands on. And I'm sitting at this typewriter writing letters to people I hardly know. I'm getting letters from people that I didn't even know existed, and they're telling me things they wouldn't tell their doctor, lawyer, or parish priest. I have record of 620 people that's coming to this reunion, and Evelyn Maher. Now, she's not a Sainer, but I sold her a Sainer membership for $100, because Kenny Reagan's doing that out in Nebraska. There's over 1,550 descendants. I got that right here someplace. And I have a few questions for the committee. I want to know what happened. When did we lose control? Whatever happened to the 42 original Sainers and the 20 spouses? We are in charge of this. We shouldn't be in charge of anything. We should be in a home. Have a good day.